Hello student, myself your English teacher Pradeep sir. I am inviting you on our Sunshine English Medium School online classes to all my dear class 7 students. Student, in my previous class, we had the reading practice of our this lesson, A Gift of Chappals, the first part. Okay, today we will have the reading practice of second part, A Gift of Chappals, second part. Okay student, after we practice reading, okay, this is second part. After we practice reading, I will explain you part wise, then we will do exercise meanwhile. Dear student, आज मु पार्ट 2 रो रीडिंग प्रैक्टिस करिया पई जाउ अछि. मो सहित सब स्टूडेंट भलरे ऑब्जर्वेशन करी पढ़िबा शिखिबे. मु पढ़िबाटा शुणिकी ऑब्जर्व करि सारला परे निजे आउ थरे पढ़िया पई चेष्टा करिवे, जोटा कि आउ स्टूडेंट मानकर ई पाठशाला जोटा डाउनलोड करि अछ, ए गिफ्ट ऑफ चैपल. एटा होछि से पाठटी, ए गिफ्ट ऑफ चैपल्स. ओके, ए पाठटी को बाहर करिवो आउ आकु पढ़िवो हला. एटा पेज नंबर 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 इन पेज नंबर 22. ओके, सो एटा को बारंबार रीडिंग करिवो आउ तार डिफिकल्ट वर्ड गुडा को लिखिवो, पुणी तार ओडिया मीनिंग लिखिवो. आ जतल मु एक्सप्लेन करिवि आउ एटा बहुत इजी आ इंटरेस्टिंग लागिवो ए लेसन टा बुझिया पाए. सो स्टूडेंट, you meanwhile as you read, you underline or write down the difficult words, find out in our the sweet language, our own language in Odia, meaning you write down, and you practice reading. Then in our next class, when I explain it, it will be very easy to understand and you will really enjoy this lesson. So let us begin the reading practice. A Gift of Chapel, Part 2. Mridu crept up to the window. Lali was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold-bordered vesty edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. He played a few notes. Lali stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless. And unhappy in her hand. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along. As Ravi said, Mridu started at the huge wearing hand, moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. Squawk! There was Lali derailing again. Amma came a wail from the gate. Amma, oh! Ravi, send that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda where she was chatting. With Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from. Pati explained to Tapi. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze. While he waited for the arms to appear, go away, said Ravi sternly. My Pati says it's time you found another house to beg from. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of this house, he said, at last, in a voice choked with feeling, are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice. Amma, Amma, oh, said his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth. With its few remaining teeth stained brown with battle chewing. Ravi, tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen, called Rukmani, and he's not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. Ravi did not have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. I'll go, he said wearily. Only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot. The tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large, pink, peeling blisters on the sole of his bare feet. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals, Mridu whispered to Meena Ravi. Have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? I don't know, said Ravi. Mine are too small to fit his feet, or I'd have given them to him. And his feet were larger than Mridu's and Meena's. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. He needs Something on his feet, Mina said, her big eyes filling. It's not fair. Sir, said Ravi, I am thinking about it. Blubbering, it's not fair. It's not fair, isn't going to hell. In 2 minutes, he'll be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappal. So where do we get them? Come, let's search the house. He pushed Mridu and Mina into the house. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the odd looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, whose are those? Ravi turned and glanced at the savvy looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. These are just the right size, he said. Picking them up, Mridu and Mina followed him nervously back into the garden. Here, said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the slippers in front of the old man. Wear these and don't come back. The beggar started at the slippers, hurriedly flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them and left, muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. The music master came out of the house and took an unappreciative look at the three of them sitting quietly under the tree, playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda, where he had put them. Lali, he called after a few moments. She hurried up to him. Have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here. Ravi, Mridu, and Mina silently watched Lali and the music master search every corner of the veranda. He scurried around, looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pots to look between them. Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them, he went on saying. They cost a whole month's fee, do you know? Soon Lali went in to tell her mother. Rukmani appeared looking harassed, with Pati following her. Where could they be? It's really quite upsetting to think someone might have stolen them. So many vendors come to the door, worried Pati. Rukmani caught sight of Ravi, Mridu, and Mina sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began, and then seeing they were curiously quiet, went on more slowly. Seen anyone lurking around the veranda? A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. Another straight, tighter one appeared in place of her usually soft, pleasant mouth. Rukmani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet, she tried to tell herself. Taking a deep breath, she cried, Rukmani, there was a beggar here. Poor thing, he had such boils on his feet. So, said Rukmani grimly, turning to Ravi, you gave the music master's chappals to the old beggar who turns up here? Children these days, groaned Pati. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna, who gave away everything he had, even his gold earring? He was so kind and generous. Silly, snapped Rukmani. Karna didn't give away other people's things. He only gave away his own. But my chappals would not have fitted the beggar's feet. Rabbi rushed brusquely on, and Amma, if they did fit, would you really not have minded? Rabbi said, Rukmani, very angry now. Go inside this minute. She hurried indoors and brought out Gopu Mama's hardly worn new chappals. These would fit you, sir. Please put these on. I am so sorry. My son has been very naughty. The music master's eyes lit up. He put them on, trying not to look too happy. Well, I suppose these will have to do. These days, children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate. Only Rama can save such a naughty fellows. Rukmani's eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. When he had clattered off in his new chapel, she said, Mridu, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such things? Thank God your Gopu Mama does not wear his chappals to work. As she walked towards the kitchen with Mridu and Meena, she suddenly began to laugh. But he is always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes home. What's your Mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music master? So student, this is what the second part reading practice. So I hope student you practice at your home this lesson, a gift of chappal, part 1 and part 2, loudly. And if you are not able to read, again you watch this video and you practice reading, find out difficult word, write the word meaning. And in my next class, I will explain you this interesting lesson, a gift of chappals. Take care. Bye.